Have you ever dealt with hair loss? I know many of us do as we get older. Our hair starts to thin, we lose a little bit, but let me tell you a story about me. About 4 weeks ago, after a shampoo, I was drying my hair and then I saw in my hand was a clump of hair. And it was like, what? It really scared me, even though I know there are worse things in life, but it was startling. So after that, I looked online about what causes hair loss and some of the things. I did a lot of research and some of the things included vitamin deficiency. The first thing it said was genetic. Hair loss is genetic, and I thought about that because my mother and my oldest sister had very, very thin hair, but they had thin hair their whole lives, and maybe it got worse in their 30s and 40s, and I'm 68, so I thought I had kind of dodged that bullet, so to speak. But what happened was I noticed that another cause of hair loss is vitamin deficiency. And then I was convinced that could very well be it. So I did some research and I'm going to let you know what I found out. My name is Marian and this is Stories, Treasures and Tea. And I'm going to tell you today about the research I did to do with hair loss. Because 2 times after shampooing, I had clumps of hair in my hand, which was startling and frightening. So the vitamin deficiency thing, what I found out was that you can have mineral deficiency, iron especially, and that didn't surprise me because I have been low in iron many times through the years. So what I researched was that it's called Irish sea moss. I went to the health food store and it was suggested for iron because I told the girl I want to get more iron in my diet. So she suggested this Irish sea moss, and it has been around for many, many, many years, but it's kind of become trendy, I think, again. And it's from the rocky coast of the North Atlantic, I think it is. And so what I did was I talked to my doctor about it. I did go to the doctor and I'm going for a bone density, and he looked at the ingredients. He thought it was just fine because I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. When I researched, I found out that it's very high in fiber. It's good source of vitamins and minerals, including calcium, magnesium, potassium, iodine, and iron. And this research was from a woman by the name of Tiffany Powers Parker, and she is a senior registered dietitian and nutritionist. And she also said that it's good for the gut. So when I saw that there was a good amount of minerals and iron, I decided to give it a try. Now it is kind of, you have to kind of mix it up, like whip it up, blend it is what you do. And you put it in a jar with water in your fridge. And then what I do is I spoon it out of there and I put it into smoothies. My doctor said it's important to get calcium. So I told him I have this, and also in there in the smoothie is yogurt and milk. So he thought that was just fine. And the other thing I got was a vitamin D, which really, so many of us need vitamin D, especially here in this climate because we don't get much sun in the winter, no matter how we try. So I showed this one to my doctor. It's D3 and K2. Apparently they work well together, and he was quite comfortable with me taking that. So that was good. Now, since I've started taking the vitamins and the Irish sea moss, the last 2 shampoos, the hair's been fine. I mean, I still, I see quite a bit of hair in my brush and I shed sometime, but nothing like those clumps of hair. So I don't know if it was just a time in my life, or if the vitamins are beginning to kick in and the sea moss. So whatever it is, things are improving. So thank goodness. Now, stories, treasures, and tea. The other thing I just want to talk about is tea story, kind of, because what I did, I had my friend for tea this week, but I know she sometimes prefers coffee, and I'm not a coffee drinker, and I'm not really a coffee preparer either. So what I tried was I did coffee in a coffee pot, and what I did, I added a little bit of my dandelion root tea, because it really is a chicory flavor. So I thought, I wonder what this would be like. So I made this dandelion root tea very strong, and I just added maybe half a cup to the coffee pot. And my friend said that the coffee was very good. She said it wasn't a strong coffee, it was just a nice mellow coffee. So I was pleased about that. We really did have a nice time, and it was a great distraction for my friend because she had sad news in her family this week. Her little Chihuahua dog had to be put down. He had a blockage, and he just couldn't go on. Poor little dog. And my poor friend. So sad. It's so sad when we lose pets. And as pet owners, we know that it's going to happen, but it's always just such a sad time. So the next thing I want to talk about are my treasures this week. And I did go to a thrift shop, and I got these two prints, which aren't usually my style, but you can see, I hope, oh, it's probably, the light is probably shining in it. I'll try to show you in a video. But these are, they are merganza ducks. I think that's the correct word. And I got them actually for my former husband because he is a wood carver, and I know he has carved this type of duck before. And I just saw them, and they were like $1.99 each. And I thought they would go great in his kind of den. So I got them for him. He doesn't even know, but if he sees this YouTube, he'll know. And I see that the artist, his name is Basil Eade. And he was an English artist who did, I think, entirely birds. So he was an interesting man. I read up a little bit on him. And apparently during World War II in England, he used to always be sketching in his sketchbook. And he did, I think he did like artillery. But then he went to Asia later in life, and he got very interested in their art. And that's when he began to do birds. And what happened later in life, he had a major stroke. I think he was about 60, and he had a major stroke, and he became paralyzed on one side, his right arm. So he taught himself to paint with his left hand. So there's another lesson to all of us that, you know, even as we get older, we have issues. He was an artist who painted many, many years with his right hand and learned to paint beautifully, apparently, with his left hand. So that was a very inspiring story for sure. So to end, I just want to read this quote that I just came across. It's just, I think, kind of a nice way to end our session. And this is what it is. Before I read it, I'm going to ask you to please push that button to subscribe and like if you can, because that will help us to grow. So this was the quote that I read today. It says, "Enjoy every moment, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the inspiring, and the not so glamorous moments, and thank God through it all. So until next week, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.